ni ndogo sana kwa baba. Baba is too big for bunge. Ukiangalia gate zote, hii gate imejaa, gate ingine huko juu imejaa, gate ya huku chini yote imejaa, na JKIA imejaa. Baba being a movement, bunge cannot be sufficient for him. Kwa sababu hata kupanga queue italeta shida na italeta stampede.
Kasarani, the new venue for the viewing of Raila Odinga'S body. Guys are pouring in like crazy. And this whole event is going to be quite a logistical nightmare for the government. But it also just shows how...
The final journey of Raila Odinga, the man millions called Baba, has taken yet another turn. Today, Kenya stands still as his body is moved to the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Originally, Raila's body was to be taken from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Lee Funeral Home, then to Parliament buildings for public viewing. But the crowds were too many. The love, the emotion, and the grief from his supporters made that plan impossible. The sea of people that flooded the airport, Mombasa Road, and the city streets forced security agencies to change course. And so, a last-minute decision was made. Raila's body will instead be taken to Kasarani Stadium. That is where Kenya's heart now beats. A stadium turned into a sanctuary of grief, where thousands are gathering to see for the final time the man who gave his life to the country. At JKIA, hundreds had gathered before sunrise. By the time the aircraft carrying Raila's body landed, the scene was already overwhelming. Men and women, young and old, wept openly, waving Kenyan flags, ODM scarves, and photos of Raila. When the plane door opened and the casket draped in the national flag appeared, silence fell. Then came the cries, deep, painful cries of people who had followed him for decades. The military guard of honor tried to keep order, but emotions overflowed. Crowds pushed closer to the runway, some kneeling, others shouting his name, Baba, Baba, Baba. Security officers quickly realized the transfer to Lee Funeral Home would be impossible. Every road leading out of the airport, Mombasa Road, the bypass, even feeder roads, was filled with people. The command center at JKIA made a swift decision: divert the motorcade to Kasarani. The route was changed through Outer Ring Road to avoid the central business district, which was already flooded with mourners. Meanwhile, at Lee Funeral Home, preparations had begun already. Military officers, government officials, and morticians were waiting. But word reached them, the body will not arrive. Instead, they were instructed to leave immediately for Kasarani. By 11:05 a.m., the team departed, escorted by the Kenya Defense Forces. Outside Lee, hundreds of mourners had already gathered, singing, praying, and refusing to leave. Even with a heavy police appearance, the crowd kept swelling. Senior officials like Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku, Lee Kinyanjui, and Mercy Wanjau remained on standby coordinating the new plan. The mission was clear: maintain dignity, restore calm, and ensure that the people could pay their last respects safely. At exactly midday, the convoy entered the gates of Kasarani. The stadium, known for hosting football matches and national celebration, had been transformed. Military vehicles lined the perimeter. The Kenyan flag waved. A somber choir sang softly in the background. When the casket arrived, silence swept through the stadium. Tens of thousands stood still. Some held flowers, others lifted small flags, tears streaming down their faces. Government officials, religious leaders, and family members walked slowly behind the coffin as it was wheeled to the main arena where Raila would lie in state. It was a sight few will ever forget, a leader returning home to the love of his people. Inside Kasarani, emotions overflowed. People from all tribes and backgrounds gathered side by side. Supporters from Kisumu, Kakamega, Nairobi, Mombasa, Garissa all stood together, united in mourning. Political differences disappeared. Even Raila's longtime rivals arrived quietly, bowing their heads in respect. Security remained tight but peaceful. KDF officers stood guard around the casket, their rifles lowered, heads bowed. The national anthem played softly, followed by a prayer led by interfaith leaders. In that moment, Kenya wasn't divided by politics. It was bound by laws. At 1:00 p.m., the government issued a formal statement confirming that Kasarani will host both the dignitary viewing and the public viewing. Cabinet Secretary for Interior announced that all necessary security and logistical measures were now centralized at the stadium. Foreign delegations from Tanzania, Uganda, South Africa, and African Union were already on their way to Nairobi.
That have been to the mountaintop. I've seen the glory land. I may not get there together with you, but together you will get there. I have seen the glory land. What I'm doing with the Uhuru, we are doing it for posterity for this country. It is not for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga does not have to be the president of Kenya, but Kenya must have a good president.